So all you need to do is just sit still and relax for that first couple of minutes. Breathe freely, don't try and hold your breath.
Wired to probes that monitor his heart and temperature, Lewis Pugh is about to find out whether the months of training that he's done for his epic swim have paid off.
Go.
First up, the dunk test for cold water shock. It's 18 degrees, the same temperature as the English Channel. But Lewis doesn't even flinch.
In fact, your heart rate is now 92, which is exactly what it was before you went in.
Right, okay.
That's a classic response of somebody who's cold habituated.
Then a tougher test for hypothermia. His 350-mile swim from Cornwall to Kent will mean spending up to 6 hours a day in the water. The results are reassuring. The fat he's put on insulates him against the cold, but it will still be a grueling swim day after day.
The critical aspect is what happens in the hour or two after he leaves the water in terms of preparing him for the next swim, getting him physically, physiologically and psychologically ready to go again.
Analysis of the air that Lewis breathes out shows he'll burn up to 10,000 calories a day, energy he'll need to replace by vastly increasing his food intake. It is his toughest ever swim.
Well done, Lewis!
What they can't capture here is suddenly now when you're fighting against a tide or a current, and maybe there's an eddy and it's pushing you backwards, and now you're arguing with the pilot, where should you be swimming, and now suddenly you're in a huge bloom of jellyfish, or now you're in a really strong easterly wind, and all these things then piling on.
Okay, away you go.
This isn't just a physical challenge, it's a mental one too. For several hours a day, Lewis is going to be on his own in the water, staring at nothing but the gloom of the English Channel, cut off from his support team.
Victoria Cox swam from England to France last year. She says swimming the length of the Channel will require extraordinary mental fortitude.
By the end of a channel swim, it's actually difficult to swallow. You can't taste anything, your tongue is swollen in your mouth, and even basic things like eating and drinking are actually really difficult and quite painful as well.
Sorry if that pinches a little.
Body fat you can measure, grit you can't. Lewis will need both for what he calls the Everest of swims. Thomas Moore, Sky News, Portsmouth.